If you have been following the news obsessively, like we all have since about March last year, you would definitely have come across the word genomics in articles about everything from COVID-19 to koalas. And if you're a bit unsure about what it really means, you wouldn't be alone there either. Genomics is a very recent area of study, and although the word genome was first used in 1920, the first complete genome wasn't sequenced until 1977. And it is really the cutting-edge research and applications of the last 10 years that have made genomics such an important branch of scientific study today. But before we go on about genomics, let's just pause a moment and look at what a genome actually is. If you were thinking genomes have something to do with DNA, you are absolutely right. Let's look at it this way. Everything alive, including us, is made up of cells. Each of these cells has a nucleus, which is a special structure that contains hereditary information which is held in chromosomes. Chromosomes contain DNA, which contains all of the inherited information needed to build a living organism. DNA can then be divided into genes, which are mostly the instructions for particular traits. And so, a genome is the complete set of genes found in the DNA of a particular organism, like you and me. The human genome has 20 to 25,000 genes, and it took a large group of scientists cooperating together about 13 years to make a map of them all. A project which they finished nearly 2 years early and under budget, which is an impressive feat in itself. But humans are not the only living organisms to have their genome sequenced. Mapping genes on the DNA of a species is also called sequencing. The first tree genome was sequenced in 2006. The first mammal genome was actually from a mouse, which was sequenced by the International Mouse Genome Sequencing Consortium in 2002. But most importantly to current events, the first ever genome sequenced was in 1977, and it was a virus. Which brings us to why scientists have become so interested in sequencing genomes and why this research is so important. Sequencing the genome of COVID-19 virus strains has allowed for identification of where the strains originated, as well as how and where they have spread, which has been crucial to the control of this deadly virus. But what has this got to do with koalas, Tasmanian devils, and eucalyptus trees? Not only has genomics been of direct, significant value to people, it has also been helping in the ongoing quest to protect biodiversity and save threatened species from extinction. Sequencing the genomes of animals is mainly about looking for what potential they have to adapt to problems such as climate change, fire, and the fragmenting of their habitat by land clearing for building and agriculture. Looking at genetic differences between populations from different areas, as well as between individuals within a population, may also help to identify combinations of genetic features that could help with adaptation and survival under difficult conditions for the whole species. This applies to trees and plants too, and cutting-edge research sequencing the genomes of grey box eucalyptus trees is currently being conducted to help make sure attempts to restore the important habitat types they occur in will be able to survive into the future, despite threats like climate change. To be effective, conservation actions need to be based on the best and most detailed information possible. We need to know why some animals and plants survive better than others, and we need to be sure that any intervention we make in the lives of our amazing wildlife is going to help them to survive, not just in the short term, but hopefully a long time into the future as well. To do this, we need to understand the potential of different species and individuals to adapt to changes in temperature and weather conditions, as well as to viruses and environmental threats. And this is where genomics will be able to help us. Hopefully you now have a better understanding of what this new branch of science is about and why it is important for conservation. Because genomics is a word you are likely to hear a lot more often in the future.